in the temple courts, we have the outer wall, we have the inner court of the Gentiles. This is where Jesus was normally at. That's where Jesus turned the tables over. And then you come around towards the entrance to the temple proper, and there's the court of women. This is as far as you can go inside here. That's the farthest in that women could go. Then inside that were the court of men. Then inside that was the priest, the court of the priests, where only the priests could be, and that's where the sacrifices were done. Then inside of that was the temple building itself, where the priest only entered one time a year. But at the entrance to the court of women, there's a sign. And this is what it said. They know this. They found record of this. Josephus, I think, wrote about this. It says, no foreigner may enter with the barricade which surrounds the sanctuary and enclosure. So no foreigner can enter into the court of women. Anyone who is caught so doing will have himself to blame for his ensuing death. That would be like saying, you guys can come in here, but anybody who steps on this here is dead. Is dead. It's your fault. I always tell the kids, you step up there, you got to preach. A lot of the kids say, okay. It scares me. Especially when it's my own kids. But that's what it would be. See, some Jews from Asia, they see Paul, and they had seen him earlier in the day with this guy who was from Ephesus. They knew he was a foreigner. They knew he wasn't Jewish. And they just immediately assumed, since they saw Paul inside the court, because he had gone in to give his sacrifice and to pay his offering for these men, they immediately assumed that he has brought that Ephesian Gentile into the court of women and the court of men. They jump to a conclusion. Don't we always? It's amazing how people's emotions will run at full speed while their brains are on neutral. Isn't that amazing? They're going full speed ahead, and they're not even thinking about what they're saying and what they're doing. And since Paul had Gentile friends, then his friends were in the temple too. That's what they thought. That is the logic of prejudice. It's the logic of prejudice. So they grab Paul, they begin to beat him. But the Roman guards are sent to intervene, and just in the nick of time, because their point, they wanted to kill him. They arrest Paul, thinking that he's an Egyptian rebel who is wanted for inciting a riot against the Romans. So they bind him in the two chains, just as Agabus had said. And Claudius, who at that time was the chief captain, we know that, he asked the crowd, what is going on? And the scene that ensues is very similar to Ephesus, because nobody knows. He hears one thing from one side, one thing from another. It's bad enough. It's bad enough when people get together and they gossip and they create problems, but then when they don't even get their story straight. We see that today in the world. People can't even get their story straight. Well, it's this. No, it's this. You would think they'd get together, say, okay, here's what we're going to do. I think they do. I think sometimes when we contrive, when we try to get involved in an issue, we may say we're going to get together, we'll figure out this is what we're going to say. But when we get into the actual action of it, as humans, we screw it up. We can't follow it because our emotions get involved. And that's what we see going on here. They didn't really care what Paul taught the Gentiles, because that had been settled. It wasn't even that the council believed these rumors. It was just that these people were just going overboard. They grabbed Paul. They began to beat him. And you can bet that there were people in the crowd who had no idea why they were even there. Hey, guess what? There's a riot over here. Let's go. The crowd is so bad that not only are they bringing Paul in, they have to carry him in. The soldiers do, to protect him. But before they take him in the barracks, he asks, can I speak to the people? And the surprising thing is, Claudius allows it. And that's what we're going to look at next time. So what do we take from this? What are the key points here? See, even when we're right, even when we're doing the right things, we can still be misunderstood. Just because we know in our hearts that what we're doing is right does not mean that everybody else thinks it is. And it doesn't always mean that everybody else will understand why we do what we do. In fact, I would argue that when we do the right thing, more people will misunderstand us. When we are following the path that God has laid out for us, we can always expect others to come along and try to discredit us or to undo what we've been doing. It's just part of human nature. It's part of being in this fallen world. And no matter what lays ahead of us, we have to persevere and do the will of God. That's the only thing that matters. Even if leadership agrees with what we're doing, there's still going to be those who are against us. The church council believed it. They believed that Paul was doing the right thing. But there's still people who are going to be against us. Rumors spread faster than a raging fire. And rumors, the fuel for rumors is ignorance. This crowd was ignorant. And whenever there are rumors going around, ignorance is at its core. That's why we must have hearts that want the truth. And even if we don't like the truth, we have to accept it and still love each other and maintain unity in that. I don't always get what I want. In my household, I am the leader of my home, but I don't always get what I want. I'll be honest with you. I did not want to go for that walk last night. I was asleep before I got up to go for that walk last night. I didn't want to go. But I want to tell you something. I loved it. I loved it. I don't always get what I want. But you know what? God gives me what I need. If I keep my eyes firmly planted on Him and His will. Not everybody's going to follow me. Not everybody's going to agree with me. But I'm only concerned about one person agreeing with me. And it's not her. It's Him.